displaying busts of 17th century wigged aristocrats. Someone banged on the front door. Celia advanced to open it, but was cut off by a man with longish brown hair that looked strategically messy. His not quite faded summer tan was a perfect backdrop for his blue eyes. He was dressed casually in jeans, a pink polo shirt, and loafers. But they were nice jeans, a nice polo, and even nicer Gucci loafers. "I'll get it, Mrs. Falks." "Thanks, Richard," Celia said. He gave her a roguish smirk and bowed, as if play acting, then went to a keypad hidden behind a hinged portrait of a scowling gentleman. After Richard performed a complicated routine on the keypad, a green light turned red, and the huge front door opened inward. Detective Schoner stood at the doorway. He looked at us and rubbed his eyes. "We're not a mirage, Arthur." Elle went to him and leaned her 5'4" frame into his 5'5" frame. Elle and I met Detective Schoner last March. I suspected the detective and Elle had a thing going on. Elle's behavior just confirmed it. Detective Schoner stepped in and closed the door. "What's this about a dead body?" He was dressed impeccably, a perfect match to this formal side of the mansion. Richard said, "Dead body?" "And you are?" the detective asked in his usual non-bedside manner. Celia came forward and introduced herself as Celia Jameson Falks, saying she hoped the detective didn't think this messy business had anything to do with Sandringham. As if. "Body? Where?" Detective Schoner repeated, nonplussed. Elle remained mute, so I said, "We were working in one of the bungalows on the estate and we found a skeleton." Even without my hearing aids, I heard a clattering coming from the back hallway. A thump, scuttle, thump, thump. A wizened form, reminiscent of the skeleton we'd just found, moved toward us. Harrison Falks piloted his wheeled walker like a B-52 on a mission. Elle stuck her hand out and pressed it against his chest to stop his momentum. "Who forgot to invite me to the party?" A rivulet of drool pooled onto Uncle Harry's huge lower lip. "Good morning, Unc. It's Elle, your great niece, remember?" Harrison Falks's milky eyes looked her over from head to toe. Then he smiled. "Little elf. Did you hear the one about the basset hound and the bullfighter?" Elle looked dumbfounded. He glanced around the foyer. "Anyone?" Celia said, "For God's sake, Harrison, your stupid jokes will be the death of me." Uncle Harry took one of his hands off the walker and waved it in the air. He started to teeter, so I grabbed the walker to keep it from rolling out from under him. Richard, who I assumed was some kind of butler, major domo, and nothing like the regal Carson from Downton Abbey, shoved me aside. "I've got him." "Come on, you bunch of nincompoops. What's your answer?" Uncle Harry lifted the walker and cracked it hard against the marble tile. Richard jumped and went to stand behind Celia. I was able to read his lips when he whispered, "Who's the nincompoop?" "Hey, sir," I said. "Call me Uncle Harry, young lady." "Uncle Harry, it's Meg. I met you last week when Elle brought me here for tea." "I'm stumped. Please tell me, what's the difference between a basset hound and a bullfighter?" Uncle Harry stood perfectly still. He opened his large mouth and started to wail. His upper dentures separated from his gums and fell to his lowers. He mumbled with tear-filled eyes, "I don't know. I just don't know. What's the answer? Tell me." I couldn't stand to see him so distressed, so I fudged it. "A basset hound is a dog, and a bullfighter is full of bull." He readjusted his teeth. "Yes, that's it. By Jove, you've got it." He closed his mouth and scooted toward the rear hallway. To my astonishment, he touched a section of mahogany paneling and the wall slid open. After a few clanks with the walker, he disappeared inside an elevator and the panel slid back in place. Celia said, "Where the hell is that nurse of his? Why do we pay her such an exorbitant salary? She can't even keep track of him." A curvaceous woman, looking the opposite of any nurse I'd ever seen, sauntered down the ornate winding staircase with a tray in her hand. "Nurse, there you are." Celia walked to the bottom step. "Are you going to keep tabs on my husband or just let him roam about willy-nilly?" Nurse's hair was long and wavy, in a striking shade of russet. Despite the fact she looked to be around 40, her huge breasts looked perky beneath her sweater. He took the elevator